Well, it happened. We did it, Jay. They won the Super Bowl. They won it.
Oh,
Yay!
yay. I
The,
did not even notice.
you did not notice with all the fireworks and the people screaming in the city of Seattle and everything
Oh.
else. No, not
Uh,
at all.
yeah, even in my neighborhood, people were driving up and down the streets like honking their horns and stuff. So,
I kept up with my mini tradition that has worked for the latter half of this season where they've been winning, and I played Magic during the game while I watched the game. And the Magic gave us magic, and then they won, as
mm.
they have been doing. So that was really what I was worried about was playing Magic. So I did that. But you went to a Super Bowl party. How was your Super Bowl party?
So I have realized that I am at that point where everyone of my friends out here like has kids, or most of them do.
Okay.
So there was like three little kids running around screaming. So it wasn't like a good Super Bowl party, but I literally just sat there on a couch and just, for the first time ever, just literally just sat there and just like did not blink and watched an entire Super Bowl game. Um, and tried to like zone out the kids.
See, my
So yeah.
daughter just like she used to like football and watching football with me and her grandpa. Now she doesn't. She's a tween. So she just hung out upstairs and did not, like I don't. She just hid. Um, so next year you're gonna have to come over and just do Magic with us, right?
Ooh,
You're gonna have
yes.
to just update some decks and come over and play
Yeah,
some Magic while we're doing football, okay? And
yeah.
and eat food. So that's what we did. Here was my thing, and we're gonna touch on the commercials later. Um, we are. I think we put it in there as a possible topic on the rundown, but since chat's mentioning it, we will talk about the commercials. Because that is always a big part of the Super Bowl. My favorite thing happened, and I'm going to play this for the audience. This was hilarious. So when they did the parade, Ernest Jones, who's one of the defenders, he has become very, very, very defensive about the city of Seattle and this team. And while on the live NBC affiliate broadcast, and boy, I love the FCC now, this is what happened, right?
Shout out to these badass motherfuckers who play this game the right way.
Oh, we're swearing on the NBC broadcast.
Not only do we have the best defense in the world, we got the best team in the world. And quite frankly, if you got anything to say about my quarterback, you got anything to say about my defense,
Wait for it.
you got anything to say about my O-line, and you got anything to say about the city of Seattle, I got two words for you. Fuck you!
So he he was pretty adamant about how he felt about everybody talking crap about Seattle, right down to the city. He was like, "Don't say anything," which I thought was pretty funny.
That
He,
is good.
I think John Schneider, the general manager, was drunk at the beginning of the ceremony. Like I kind of like half watched the ceremony when they did it, and I was like, "Oh my god, these guys are! It's 10 in the morning. They're already hammered." I mean, fair, you just won, but
If I win a Super Bowl, I'm gonna not be sober for probably like a week.
yeah, I mean, good for those guys. Congrats to the Seahawks. They're in a great position for next year too. And also, we don't like the Patriots. We covered this last week. Okay, go back and watch it. We actually got a lot of play on that video Sunday morning.
Oh my
People were
god.
looking at Super Bowl stuff. They came to our Super Bowl preview. And why we told you not to root for the Patriots because Robert Kraft is a MAGA loving bastard. And hey, nothing better than Robert Kraft being sad face about his team fucking losing.
Suck it.
Okay. I almost felt bad for their quarterback. Almost. Because they were just, you said you sat and watched the whole thing. He was just under duress the entire game.
Mhm. Well, there was like at one point in the game where I'm pretty sure it was like, so the announcer said like, this quarterback has been sacked 12 times all season. 4 has happened in this game, and it was like halftime, and I was like, holy shit. Like, oh god.
He had a bad day. He had a very bad day. So There you go. Sorry about that, Drake May. You know, you just had a really bad day, dude. Anyway, a lot of people were upset because it was in a very, like, exciting Super Bowl. It was pretty meh. There was a lot of defense. Not a lot.
A lot of defense.
A lot of defense, a lot of field goals. But we're not going to do this as a full topic, but you did, right before the show, you watched the new Spider-Man Noir trailer with Nicolas Cage. Obviously, this is a riff off of, and it's being produced by Lord Miller, the Nicolas Cage Spider Noir from Into the Spider-Verse, which was great. And now they're doing it as a live-action show, which I love. What did you think of the trailer?
Oh my God, I'm excited. Like, this is one of the most.
What he's like.
Yeah, this looks insane, and I'm super excited. I don't know what to say.
It does look like a lot of fun. I think Nick Cage is going to choose some scenery. I like that they're doing it. I don't know if you noticed this. When they put the show up on Amazon Prime, they're going to do a black and white version and then like a saturated color version.
Oh.
So you can pick which one you want to watch.
Choices.
Right? But I like that they're doing like the CinemaScope, like saturated color style, right? If you're going to do color. I think that's going to be a lot of fun. I have a lot of hope for this show. I really do.
Oh, it looks so good.
It does look so good. So, I mean, I wish there's just not quite enough to do a whole topic. Maybe we'll go back. We haven't done this in a while because it's hard to doing weekly reviews of a show. There hasn't been one that Jay and I both have like kind of glommed onto in a long time.
Yeah.
Where we're like, we need to watch this, and do weekly, but maybe we'll get to that with Spider Noir.
Yeah, I just got something to say. If you want to talk shit about this TV show or about Nicolas Cage or about Spider-Man in general.
Fuck you. Okay, well, with that down, that's the cold open, and let's get into it. Coming to you live from our weird home studios, it is the Error Code Show for February 12th, your place for news, pop culture, politics, gaming, and whatever the hell else we want to talk about. As always, I am your host, Alex the Humanoid. I am joined once again by my great co-host, Jay. Jay, how are you? I see some heart fingers.
I am doing good. No complaints over here. It is, at work we celebrated today as Valentine's Day.
It is getting close to Valentine's Day. We're getting there. Okay, if you want to support the show, you can subscribe to us on Twitch for a very, very low cost. And if you have Amazon Prime, you get one free Prime sub on Twitch, which means you can give us Amazon's money and you don't have to spend anything. It's a free way to support the news and reactions we bring you each week. Comment, like, and subscribe on our YouTube channel. We're on our march. Our next big goal is 5,000 subs. We're gunning there. But thank you to everybody who's already subscribed. Don't forget to hit that notification bell. And again, sharing and subscribing to all that stuff is a great way for us to beat the algorithm gods, because the AI and the algorithm gods are trying to kill us. Be also sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook. We are at the Error Code Show, and join the Discord. With that out of the way, let's jump into the first segment tonight. Somebody brought this to me last week, or earlier this week. They were like, hey, this happened, and Alex is going to do a segment on it. And they were right. I'm going to do a segment on it. Okay, so here we go. Hasbro released their financial results, and tonight we're going to talk about the narratives around Magic the Gathering and with Wizards of the Coast that just keep refusing to die. And they go like this: Hasbro is doomed. Magic is collapsing. They're releasing too much product. Universes Beyond is killing Magic. Wizards of the Coast has lost the plot. This is the constant refrain. This is what the internet keeps shouting. Well, let's see what actually happened. Because Hasbro just released their Q4 and full year financials, as they're required to do as a publicly traded company, and they tell a very different story.
What?
Are they struggling? No. Are they shrinking? No. Hasbro just made $4.7 billion in 2025, which I believe is the highest in company history. And Wizards of the Coast, they generated 2.186 billion of that total. Nearly half the company driven by a single division. So either one of the largest toy and gaming companies on the planet is secretly failing, or their internet outrage is just detached from reality. Let's talk about what the numbers actually say. Because when you zoom in on the fourth quarter, the picture gets even louder. Fourth quarter, Wizards of the Coast generated $630.4 million in 3 months. And that's compared to $339 million in the Q4 of the year prior. This is not incremental growth. That's a surge. It's nearly double. And that Q4 performance was anchored by the Avatar Universes Beyond release. So at some point, we have to be honest in the Magic community about what we're actually seeing. Universes Beyond did not kill Magic. It expanded it. What actually changed is who Magic is for. Because we can zoom in even further. Because that $630 million headline gets more interesting the closer you look. Roughly $494.7 million of that came from tabletop gaming. Physical cards on actual tables in game stores around the world. Which should challenge the narrative we hear constantly that digital is replacing tabletop, because it's not. Tabletop isn't dying, it's driving the machine. Now, I'm going to head off an early question that I get every time I've done this topic in the past. Go look on the channel. We've done this before. Hasbro does not break out Dungeons & Dragons separately. We have no idea how much D&D is actually making. Wizards is reported as a combined segment. They break out certain sections. But when you watch the investor presentation, something becomes pretty noticeable. Magic is referenced repeatedly over and over as a growth driver. D&D is mentioned far more selectively, and public companies don't do that by accident. Investor calls are designed to spotlight the engines pulling the train, and so while we can't say an exact percentage, and it's important that we're not pretending otherwise, the way this segment is presented strongly suggests that Magic is obviously doing the overwhelming majority of the heavy lifting. D&D, I would guess, likely accounts for less than 10% of their tabletop revenue. That's not a sign that D&D is failing, so don't twist what I'm saying to be like, oh, D&D is failing. No. It's a sign of how big Magic is, and nothing is even close to getting close to it, touching it. And this is where perspective matters. When people claim that Wizards of the Coast is being run into the ground, what they're actually describing is a division that generated over $2 billion this year and nearly $500 million in tabletop revenue in a single quarter. That's not what corporate distress looks like. That's what market dominance looks like. Magic is not a niche hobby anymore. It is a global consumer product, which brings us to the real tension underneath all of this. When a hobby grows this fast and this big, is it evolving or becoming something that longtime fans don't recognize anymore? Jay, when you're looking at these numbers, are fans misreading the health of Magic, or are the financials pointing to changes the community just doesn't want to hear about?
Yeah, I think you are right that fans are just not happy with the, as you put it, who Magic is now for. And I think we covered this in maybe a couple weeks ago about like kind of gatekeeping your nerdom, kind of. You don't want it to become mainstream. You want it to be for you, not the younger generation. You don't want to see it change. Same thing happened to me with Pokemon. Love the original, like 151. When they started coming out with new Pokemon, I was like, how dare you? No, you can't do this. And I've never moved on from the original 151. That is me. I still love Pokemon. But anyways, back to your question. I think your original fans are just not happy with this new direction. But as you have proven, this does seem to be more profitable.
I also am going to say the hard truth to all the fans who are out there bitching. And this goes back to something I said about D&D years ago, but it applies here to Magic. You guys complain a lot, but you're not changing your habits, okay? The hardcore Magic fans are still buying a shit ton of Magic, okay? They just are, okay? They just are. So, can we stop pretending for a couple of minutes that as much as you guys gripe about UB, as much as you guys gripe about everything else, you're still buying it. So if you're going to sit out there and complain, stop buying it, right? Because I'll tell you right now, there financially, again, there is no, like, there's no indication that this is hurting Magic at all. So all you people are like, they're releasing sets too fast, it's bad. Oh, and we talked a couple weeks ago, remember, about a lawsuit? That they weren't meeting their fiduciary responsibilities? Who remembers that topic from 2 weeks ago? Right? Hey, Jay, do you think that Magic is meeting their fiduciary responsibilities?
I do not. This is outrage. Also, they are now guilty of falsifying financial documents, which will get them in even more trouble. I am angry.
Yeah.
Arr.
Again, let's look at this closer. Magic the Gathering specifically made $1.72 billion last year compared to $1.078 billion the year prior. That is a 59% increase to how much money Magic the Gathering made in 2025. You can't, there's no other way to spin it, guys. Magic is doing fine. They're doing this. To answer a question from the chat, right? Somebody said, how much of that is Final Fantasy? Final Fantasy was a lot of it. And I'm going to be curious to see the Q2 and Q3 results this year compared to last year's once they come out, because we'll know how much of a drop from Final Fantasy there was. Now, the thing about Final Fantasy, when Magic made Universes Beyond standard legal, they changed how it's done. So Final Fantasy is still out there. You can still buy Final Fantasy. Is it at the same, like, Kaplawi as the release? No, but you can still go buy it. They're still selling it, right? And they're going to sell it for 3 years from release date because it's a standard set, right? Not just a commander only or anything else, right? So there's that. So here's the other, somebody in the chat. Oh my God, I had a realization. I don't want my fandom to change the same way old vets don't want their Legion or VFW halls to change. I left the org over that frustration. Damn it, I'm the old guy now. And that's actually a really apt analogy. I really like that analogy for what we're seeing here. Okay? Because I think it's appropriate. Right? Like, it really is. I think there's an old school group who's really upset about this. But again, they're being pushed out by the people who are coming in now. And, you know, a couple of our viewers only account for like 2% of the sales of Magic in the last 12 months. We did get some good news because I know they announced their Warner Brothers partnership. No, there is not a Harry Potter Magic set coming. So everybody relax. That's not happening. They already said, no, it's not in our pipeline. So I'm actually kind of glad. I don't really want that set.
That's crazy. I thought it would come out during Pride Month.
The Pride Month this year. Well, let's hit that another topic because I actually can speak about something related to this. Yeah, and more to do with the thing. And again, last year, going back to that lawsuit, you know, they did slow down last year. They had 6 release sets last year. You can see them up on the screen now. This year, they're going to 7. Lorwyn Eclipse just came out about 3 weeks ago. And in about 3 more weeks, we get Ninja Turtles. I personally am very excited for Ninja Turtles because I love Ninja Turtles. The other one, and again, this kind of goes back to, you know, what Final Fantasy did last year for Magic. Will Marvel Superheroes and The Hobbit kind of combined kind of hit those numbers that Final Fantasy did last year? And I think depending on how the Marvel superhero set goes, I think it really could. And then, yeah, they're closing out the year with Star Trek, which we all kind of saw coming when they started doing Starships and Magic last year. That was, that was what was going to happen. I can already see where they're going with Star Trek. So, but we have no spoilers on that one yet. So yeah, like I said, anytime you hear somebody yapping about magic is dying, magic, universes beyond is killing magic, everything's killing, it's not. Okay? It's just not. Okay? I don't, it cannot be any clearer that all of the narrative surrounding Magic and their release schedules and the universes beyond is just bullshit. Yeah. So that's pretty much all I got on that one. Jay, do you have anything you'd like to add before we close this topic out?
Back in my day, we used to have Ouija boards. That was the Magic that we had.
We had mana burn. That's how old I am. Okay, so back in the day, if you tapped mana and didn't use the mana in your mana pool, you took damage. You know how like you had floating at the end of stuff? Yeah, you used to take damage from mana not being used properly.
Wow.
Mana burn is not a thing anymore. There are a couple of cards that simulate mana burn, but no, mana burn is not a thing. They got rid of mana burn years ago, maybe decades. But yeah, back in my day, somebody else also brought up the Secret Lair. Yeah, they mentioned Secret Lair in the investor presentation. Secret Lair is a big piece of this too. Look, these guys are printing fucking money still. And honestly, from a game design standpoint, look, these guys have stayed relevant for 30 years. 30 years. Jay, that is a long time.
That is a really long time.
To keep designing new stuff. Like from a design perspective, that's a lot.
I'm trying to think of like another company that's been around for more than 30 years or at least 30 years.
In this space, there's video game companies, but not.
Yeah.
Not like this.
Yeah.
Somebody in the YouTube chat, maybe the magic we gathered was the Mountain Dew we drank along the way.
That's cute.
I think that's the perfect way to end this segment. All right. So there's the financial records. By the way, for somebody in the chat asked, where is it? Go type in to Google Hasbro Investor, and it will take you to the site where they post all their stuff. They're required by law to do that. As soon as they release their 10K, I'll review it, the actual full 10K, and see if there's anything else interesting in there. But, we got the high level stuff from Hasbro, and Magic is doing fine. So, anyway, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Star Wars CCG. No, I always hated the TCG. I haven't tried the new Star Wars TCG. I have no desire to. Standalone TCGs based on an existing IP are always difficult because eventually you run out of shit to do. Right? That's why Magic is able to do what it does. Is, hey guys, we'll just make up new shit. And you can't, it's hard to do that with something like Star Wars. So, I did collect the first Star Wars TCG, the original, but I don't do the Star Wars TCG anymore. So, well, we're getting ready to move into our next topic, which is going to be Jay, and is an update on a topic that we talked about again about 3 weeks ago, right? If you have anything you saw in the news this week or any other topics that you thought would be interesting, go ahead and drop in the chat. We try to get to those at the end of the show. So yeah, go ahead and drop those in the chat right now, and we will get ready to move on. Jay, you have an update on our 3D printing stuff.
Well, I want to take a quick pause and just say thank you for subscribing for 6 months in advance.
Who did I miss? Oh, thank you. Thank you, VT Pilot. We appreciate that.
Thank you. Nice.
Yeah. All right. So you want to jump in there?
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay. So 3D printing, guns, we've covered this like 3 weeks ago. We have an update. So the state of California has opened a lawsuit against websites that publish blueprints for 3D printing ghost guns. The California Attorney General and also San Francisco City Attorney has filed this lawsuit. This actually was submitted to the courts February 6th, 2026. What are the allegations? So the allegations of this are that various websites have made it possible to download design files for 3D printing firearms, provided instructions allowing individuals to print, quote, Glock-like handgun frames and other firearm components. This was, everyone had access to this without background checks, no serial numbers, no age verification. According to investigators, state officials were able to download files with a few simple keystrokes, and also effectively 3D print and assemble a working Glock-style handgun. And they were also able to get access to over 150 firearm designs. Now, obviously, on the state website, or on the state side, they are saying that this violates the California civil statute relating, quote, ghost guns. And this facilitates unlawful firearm manufacturing and also contributes to a public safety crisis. Quick numbers here. In recent years, there's been over 11,000 annual ghost gun collected, evidently. So this is not like a small problem. This appears to be a very large issue. The state is seeking a permanent injunction to stop distribution of these files in the state of California. They are also seeking civil penalties and additional court-related relief. As we have covered 3 weeks ago-ish, the other side of this argument is free speech. Federal courts have previously ruled that publishing code can qualify as protected expression. Similar litigation occurred involving defense distributed, which centered on whether 3D guns filed constitutes under protected speech. Let me see. But yeah, this is something that we have covered in kind of in detail like 3 weeks ago. Please go watch that video. This does appear to be a lot bigger of an issue. 11,000 guns every year collected is that's pretty alarming. And to be able just to simply go in, 3D print, and have no trace whatsoever, no background check, no age check. Yeah, I don't think anyone wants this. Alex, what are your thoughts?
I struggle with this topic. I really do.
Yeah, I kind of struggled just like going through reading it. I'm not sure if you picked up on that.
No, you did great. I struggle with this topic for a couple of reasons. And I'm gonna make some analogies here, right? But bottom line up front, I think that this is a failure on the part of our Congress and our Senate to do anything fucking meaningful. Anything at all. Okay? And I have become more and more convinced over the last few years that the only solution to kind of fixing a lot of these problems is we need 4 or 5 constitutional amendments. We need like 4 or 5 more. Okay? Like, and again, it is on our Congress and on the, you know, on the House of Representatives, the Senate. It's on these people to deal with this shit. This comes down to AI stuff and things like that. So, and here's the example, the analogy I'm going to make. Porn is covered under the First Amendment. You are permitted to create pornography, right? This is settled case law, right? Okay? You're allowed to make porn. You're allowed to do that. But there are limitations to that porn. You can't make child sexual assault material. That's not allowed, right? We all agree on this, right? But now we're getting into these weird arguments about porn again, because again, you brought up code is a First Amendment right, okay? So if I program an AI system to create pornography using someone's real life photo, is that my First Amendment right? Right? If I create code that allows you to 3D print ghost guns, right? But hey, I'm using that for my own purposes and I'm just using it for target practice and for fun. Is that my First/Second Amendment right? And the honest question, the honest answer that I have for those questions is I have no idea. And this is the problem. And it again, it is on our representatives to fix this, right? You are going to have to find a way within our society to decide what we consider okay and not okay. Okay? And we as voters are going to have to get to the point where we start becoming single issue on certain things, right? Like the AI regulation, like 3D printing of ghost weapons, like what arms control. That's it. I don't know what I have to be honest. I have no idea what the answer is, but again, our representatives, our government is doing nothing. And quite frankly, I'm sick of them. And this is both sides. The fact that we continuously have to legislate through the courts is ridiculous. Right? That's what we're doing. We're legislating through the courts. That's driving me nuts. Somebody in the chat saying, I'm not sure America in its present incarnation can actually pass a constitutional amendment. And I agree. I don't think right now we can. I do not think at this point that if you tried to push a constitutional amendment through, that it would go fucking anywhere. Right? So
touching on your porn analogy here. Yes, porn. You have the right to it. You can make porn. You can consume porn. But to drive your point home, there's regulations around porn. There's US 18 USC 2257 for record keeping. You must create and maintain well-documented records of each individual, blah, 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 blah. You have to do age verification. There's like a whole list. And then you also have like it broken down, like it states here, like every state might have like different laws and regulations. You also have to consent releases and all of this kind of stuff. So,
but now we got the AI porn, right? So if I use someone's real life picture, feed it into an AI thingy and be like, make a porn for me, a porn video with this person's picture, am I exercising my right to free speech?
So I think, yeah, okay, fine, you got me. Okay, you backed me into a corner. I mean, me personally, I think it's like if it's for your own personal use,
consumption,
probably going to be okay. But if you make that and then try to distribute it, not okay. But yeah, we need regulations around AI and also around 3D printing guns, because we don't. Yes, there's like, oh, this is my freedom of speech and also my Second Amendment right. But at the same time, you don't want, I'm going to go to the extreme here, like drug cartels or gangs or whoever to be able to massively 3D print guns and then go shoot up a whatever, insert whatever here. And then not have any sort of serial number or anything, and then you just melt down the gun and throw it away.
Right. And that actually brings us to our thing. Because we have some folks in the chat. We got some comments on the last YouTube video we did about this. And actually, that's a great example, right? Because there is no age limit on a 3D printer, right? any goofball can go buy a 3D printer on Amazon. Number one. Number two, what is to stop a 14-year-old from 3D printing a handgun and blowing away their teacher? Okay. What processes do we have in place to at least try, right? I know we're going to fail sometimes, but what processes do we have in place to at least try to stop that from happening? Okay. And this is again where I go, look, we got to do something. And again, our Congress is just lost in the fucking sauce on this, and it drives me absolutely up the wall. You know.
Yeah.
Somebody's bringing up a Constitution Convention. Yeah, you can submit a bunch of stuff, but they all still have to be ratified. At the end of the day, I'm not worried about a constitutional amendment banning gay marriage because it wouldn't get ratified. There's too many states that would not ratify it for it to become a full-blown constitutional amendment. It's the same reason we can't amend the Constitution to fix the Second Amendment, is you're just never going to happen. Hell, we can't get the Equal Rights Amendment across I think they're one state away, but they couldn't get that across the finish line, right? Somebody in the chat, I'd like 50% of our representatives to not give me the feeling that they would ask me what the any key is to press.
Oh no.
Oh no. And I've talked about this. This was a long time on the show. Every time there is a congressional hearing or a Senate hearing about like social media where they bring in like the CEO of TikTok and Facebook and Twitter, and every time I watch those because it's fucking hilarious to watch these geriatric old men be like, can the TikTok know what my phone TikTok network TikTok, right? Because they really do. They will, and they have young aides who can explain this to them, but they're like, does the TikTok know my clock? You know, and they just, it's completely ridiculous. So if you ever want like a good laugh, watch those hearings, right? Because they get real dumb real fast, and it's hilarious. So, yeah, we got to do something. We really do. 11,000 ghost guns is a huge number.
Yeah, and I was actually like, while you were talking, I kind of looked. In 2023, supposedly there was over 27,000 suspected of being collected nationally. 27,000. That's a lot. That's a lot of 13-year-olds like 3D printing guns.
Fortunately, from what I understand, most of the full-blown 3D printed firearms are basically like one shot and they're done because they don't have the structural capacity to be used over a period of time. But yeah, I mean, if you just want to blow away one teacher, yeah. So there you go. All right, folks, let us know what you think down in the comments below. Would do. All right. Once again, for anybody who may have joined us since the last segment started, if you've got any fun things for us to talk about, go ahead and throw those into the comments there, and we will attempt to get to them later in the show. We always like to hear what our audience has to say. If you're ever in our Discord or on our YouTube channel, leave comment suggestions there. I love it. We love hearing what you guys want to talk about. And if it's appropriate and we know enough about it, occasionally we will decline them, either because we don't know enough about it and it's complex, or we will, push it to later in the show. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Do we want to do the Super Bowl commercials one? Who wants to talk about some Super Bowl commercials?
Yeah, that may be like a fun,
palate cleanser.
Yeah.
Okay. So I absolutely love the Super Bowl commercials most of the time. It is actually one of the fun things. Usually we get some awesome movie trailers, right? So we get some good teasers. Usually we get some cool, like, funny commercials that, like classics, right? Like the frog saying Budweiser, right? Or the "What's Up" commercial, or all kinds of fun stuff. Here's what I will say. In my opinion, and we're gonna go deep on this. This year's Super Bowl commercials were crap. I mean, straight crap. Number one, and number two, it actually gives me some severe concern about the state of our economy, seeing who has the money to advertise at the Super Bowl. Jay, did you have a favorite Super Bowl commercial?
I would say my favorite one was the Jurassic Park commercial.
I liked
where
that one.
Yeah, essentially, like, it was a, like, what would happen if like, everything was perfectly fine in Jurassic Park and they just went about the park like they were supposed to. I don't know. I liked that one.
I did like that one.
Yeah.
So, and somebody in the YouTube chat already hit about it, right? Is the sheer amount of AI and sports gambling commercials gives you serious concern. Just so everybody knows, Super Bowl commercials are not cheap. You pay millions of dollars for like a 30-second spot. And so it kind of gives you an indication about who has the money to really do this. Like, what businesses are in on this. The Coinbase one with the Backstreet Boys, that was a bait and switch, by the way.
Oh, I've seen so many, like, reaction videos of people freaking out when they realized it was a Coinbase.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So I thought that was kind of shitty. The OpenAI one, the one for the new Alexa Plus, I was like, are you trying to convince me not to buy an Alexa? Because what I saw was the many ways that Alexa can kill me. Right? Like what Yahoo and Amazon was like, I know. Let's show them scenarios in which Alexa can murder you. Right?
Are you worried about AI murdering you,
I'm
Alex?
starting to become concerned about the AI murdering me. Okay. The Duncan one was weird. Like, I'm like, what are you trying to advertise here?
Yeah. Yeah. Same with the Jesus commercial. So the entire commercial, I was like, what is this for? And then, like, it, like, faded to, like, Jesus loves you or something. And I was like, what? Like, the entire room that I was in, like, literally everyone was just like, what?
Yeah, again, sometimes you get some really good ones.
I don't know.
The one with Ben Stiller, like, did you get what that was supposed to be about?
No, I don't.
You know,
What was that about?
It reminds me of an old Lewis Black bit where he's like, the Super Bowl commercial, he was saying this years ago, where the Super Bowl commercials are getting so stupid. Four frogs sit on a log. One of them goes home and hangs himself. Buy a bike. Like, what? What is this about? But yeah, so much AI, so much OpenAI, so much Coinbase, so much everything. Like, I really don't understand what, like, that makes me concerned, because that's what we're advertising is AI and Coinbase and DraftKings. Weight loss drugs, robots drinking vodka. That one was weird. The Svedka one.
Yep.
Right?
Yep.
Yeah. And now I'm going to address one directly that somebody in the chat brought up. The Mandalorian and Grogu one.
Yeah.
I fucking hated it. I was mad. I was really upset about it.
Were you winning or losing your game at this point?
The Seahawks were never losing the game.
No, I meant your Magic game.
Oh, I honestly don't remember. Well, I was just playing. We're just playing for
Mm.
funsies. No, the Mandalorian Grogu one pissed me the fuck off. I was really upset about it.
What do you think caused the outrage?
It doesn't show me anything. Nothing. I don't want you to do. Look, and I love Sam Elliott and his voiceover as much as the next guy. Sam Elliott is a national fucking treasure, and we need to keep him alive for as long as possible because there's very few actors left with the James Earl Jones, Morgan Freeman, Sam Elliott ability to do VO. Okay? That being said, give me a 30-second spot that actually shows me something about the fucking movie and then be like, hey, the trailer's online, right? Which is usually like Project Hail Mary. Project Hail Mary did their 30-second spot and said, hey, by the way, the whole trailer's online, right? That's what you do with Super Bowl spots for movies, right? Mandalorian Grogu's like, we're going to do a take on the Budweiser Clydesdales? What the fuck does it have to... Because right now, the first trailer you put out is very mid. I still don't really understand what's going on, and I don't know what you're doing with this Star Wars movie. The first one in 7 years. Jay, it's been 7 years since I had a Star Wars movie. 7 years. Okay? It was before COVID. And the fact that you burned $10 million for that piece of junk that gave me no reason to be more excited about this movie, right? That might turn out to be as bad as a fucking TV movie on Disney Plus. That's why I got mad at it. Again, if you were simul-releasing an actual fucking trailer, which by the way, we're only 3-4 months out from this movie, where's the next trailer? Sorry. That one, I was really upset about it. So, Jay, your thoughts?
Yeah, I wasn't outraged. I was just like, damn, I wish I would have seen like more
anything
trailer.
Anything
Yeah, so I will say like, yeah, that was my reaction. I was like, oh, like I thought that was, I did think that was going to lead into the trailer. Like it was going to be a fun little play on Budweiser and then like lead into the trailer, but it didn't. And I was like, damn it. But it didn't like anger me that much. Oh man. But yeah, this year, a lot of AI commercials. Oh god. A lot of AI.
And there's a lot of, you're right, there's a lot of reactions to it. And yeah, there's a lot of notes about how many AI. They're saying 30-second airtime was up to $10 million, depending on placement, during this year's Super Bowl. Google's Gemini, I don't care. I actually really hate, I think Google has gotten worse. When it's added every time they give me an AI answer, I get mad at Google. Google used to be better. And again, that Backstreet Boys one, you know. By the way, according to CBS News, AI-related products was 25% of the ads at the Super Bowl this year.
Dang. That.
Why? Yeah. I didn't see any that I loved.
Addressing like a comment in the chat. I always love seeing the football players in Disney like that win the Super Bowl, and you have these massive guys in the little Disney teacups.
Yes, they do. Anyway, well, let's finish up. We can actually talk about that if we'd like to chat about it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Any more Super Bowl commercials?
Yeah, get better next time.
You
I don't know.
know. Yes, to answer the chat question, it is a tradition. It's been a tradition for like 40 years now that they always do it, right? They go up to the Super Bowl MVP, who this year was Kenneth Walker III, the running back. It's the first time in like 20 years a running back's been the MVP. And they go to him with the camera and they're like, "What are you going to do? You just won the Super Bowl. What are you going to do?" And they go, "I'm going to Disneyland or Disney World, depending on which park is closer this year," because the game was held in Northern California. Yes, they did. And in fact, there was stuff in the next morning Disney parks on their TikTok. They had it all over. So Sam Darnold, the quarterback of the Seahawks, and Kenneth Walker were at Disneyland the next day. They do a parade through the park, the Super Bowl winter parade, and there's a big float, and it's got Seahawks crap all over it, and they go through the park and wave. And then there was some very cute stuff on the teacups.
Yeah. I
So
don't know. This is fun. It's fun.
I think it's a fun tradition. I think it's great. Good for Sam Darnold, Kenneth Walker, And then they flew back up here for the great old parade that we already talked about earlier in the show.
So talking about that parade, one, I don't really know why they did it on Wednesday.
They always do.
It doesn't make sense because everyone already called out. All right, so where I worked at, half the building was gone Monday because they were hungover. And then half the building wasn't there on Wednesday for the parade. Which someone was telling me there was like a news article of because there was just no place to park. People were just parking everywhere, and something insane like 300 cars got towed. So there was tow truck companies just raking in cash.
Oh yeah, yep,
insane.
So I just point out, Seattle schools had 25% of the student body skip, and that's because the Seattle public schools is stupid. Last year, Philly just closed the fucking schools. The year before that, Kansas City closed the fucking schools. I don't know why, when you were the Seattle public schools, you don't just go, screw it. Yeah. City holiday, we're done. Y'all go to the parade, have fun. Okay. It's the closest we have to an accepted state religious holiday. Absolutely. Right? And I don't care. And in which case, if you had a new superintendent start the week before Seattle Public Schools, the new superintendent is a fucking moron. Right? Or a party pooper. I don't know which. I'm just telling you, you are a moron or a party pooper.
I mean, okay, to be fair, I think like part of the job description of like a public school official is to be a party pooper. You're not going to get like a public school person that's like, go party, have fun. I mean, they did do that at FSU.
Yeah, somebody in the YouTube chat's pointing out it's almost cultish. Americans must worship the Super Bowl. This is true. And I would say outside of the World Cup, which only happens every few years, there is no analog that I can think of in any other country around the world. Can you?
I would say probably like World Cup.
That's it, but that's every few years.
Yeah.
The Olympics, right? But honestly, I think the Olympics are losing popularity.
I think they are. I really think the Olympics are like losing steam. Like I think people are.
And I don't know why, but nobody seems to do it. Somebody, I think, meant right superintendent in the chat. They wrote Super Nintendo. YouTube. You know what? That's who needs. Yes, the official term for the head of school district should be Super Nintendo, right? Because that would be more fun. Yeah. Again, I can't think. Anybody in the chat's welcome to correct me, or tell me no, this is it. Maybe there's like a World Cricket Final, UK with the football culture. Yeah. Yeah. Apparently in Australia, I'm being told the entire country shuts down for the Melbourne Cup, which is cricket, which I don't understand how to play cricket, but I've seen it.
It's very complex.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Absolutely what I've heard. You know, look, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when we were covering the Super Bowl, especially in times like these, right? I think that there is a place for civic pride, right? There is a place to give a city or a community something positive that everybody can come together, or almost everybody can come together and go, look, this is fun. It's not the devil. It's not fascist Gestapo thugs running around masked in the streets. Okay. And for one day or a couple of days, a community can come together and go, hey, let's talk about something that's not just depressing, right? And somebody in the YouTube chat's going to make me look up something. Which came first, cricket or baseball? Apparently, it's the opposite. Somebody's like, cricket is like if a finance bro tried to venture capitalize baseball, the IPO. It's actually apparently backwards. Cricket came out before baseball. I did not know that. See, I'm learning new things every day on this show.
Look at that.
See? And again, if in this moment it's a Super Bowl win, I'll take it. Right? I mean, honestly, Jake, can you think of anything else for people to be kind of positive about in America right now? It's kind of a dumpster fire. And I know somebody in the YouTube chat's not from America. They mentioned, and I'll tell you right now, for Americans, right, I think for a lot of Americans right now, it is very, very difficult. Right? Like, it's really hard to stay positive. It's really hard to do anything. For some people, it's hard to get out of bed. And so I think giving anything, because we went from Super Bowl to, and I didn't put this in the thing, but Pam Bondi had a hearing in the Congress yesterday about the Epstein files, and it was a fucking dumpster fire. Okay,
it was bad. Yeah,
and I thought about putting it in the rundown yesterday when I was in the rundown doc, and I was like, you know what? No, I can't right now, because there does come a point, and Jay and I talk about this every week. We do a serious topic. We do serious topics on the show, and we want to do serious topics on the show. I think the 3D printing ghost gun bans and the legislation and the laws around that are important topics for us to cover. But we also want to cover fun things too. You know what I mean? We don't want to just be a hate channel.
Yeah.
I agree, VT Pilot. If the Mariners ever win the World Series, the city will fully shut down. That will be an absolute zoo. I went to the first Super Bowl parade after Super Bowl 48, the first time the Seahawks won. It was a great experience. I didn't want to go this time. They had almost 1 million people.
Oh my God.
It's a lot. It's a lot. As spring training kicks off, how are we feeling about the Mariners? I'll let you know in about a month. Right now, my feeling on baseball is fuck the Dodgers. Because I don't think anybody can beat the Dodgers. I don't think it's possible to beat the Dodgers in the World Series, barring crazy, weird, like, injuries on the Dodgers, you know, like Shohei Ohtani suddenly, like, you know, breaks both legs. I just, nobody's beating the Dodgers. Sucks.
So, I mean, like, okay, so the Dodgers, right? So they got that going for them, but can they, like, duck, dip, and also dive, or can they just dodge? Because there's, like, multiple things for dodgeball.
Well, look, yeah, and if you can dodge a wrench, you can dodge a ball. And I'm glad we got one of those references in here. All right. Yeah, if you guys have any other topics you want us to talk about in the chat, go ahead and drop them into the thing. I actually probably will grab that one because it relates to. So thank you, Perseus. We'll get to that one a little later in the show. I'll drop that in there because it does kind of relate to the 3D ghost gun thing. But now what we're going to talk about is some of the other things that, again, the reason we talk about why sometimes coming together as a community is great, right? Is because of topics like this next one, which are not so happy. So, Jay, take it away.
Yes. America. Were your parents so gay that you failed a class, or maybe lost a football game, or perhaps your PC build wouldn't turn on? Were your parents so gay that you didn't get accepted into college, or you got rejected from that girl that you've been trying to ask out for for the last 5 years? Did that happen to you? Because supposedly there's a group out there that is claiming kind of just that. This group, Greater Than, which I hate the name, they are saying that to protect children, they need to end same-sex marriage. Yes, you heard me correct. To protect the children, we got to abolish same-sex marriage. So the president of this group said during their group's launch video that same-sex, quote, harms children in virtually every way possible. Every way. So PC builds, football games, college, all of that's gone if you have gay parents. I don't know. What this does is this deprives of the unique love and guidance only a mother and father can provide. Greater Than campaign claims that gay parents are the real threat to children. So this group, Greater Than, so stupid, 47 right-wing organizations joined forces together to try to overturn the U.S. Supreme Court's ruling in 2015 that found same-sex couples have the same rights and responsibilities to marriage as everyone else. The coalition's focus is to change national public opinion on same-sex marriage by declaring that children are, quote, greater than equality. You heard that correct. Greater than equality. Let's break this down. What is equality? Because I'm sure a lot of people in this country do not understand that word. So I will break it down for you. Equality. This is the principle that all individuals are entitled to the same rights, freedoms, opportunities, and treatment regardless of their background, race, gender, or current circumstances. So children are above all of that. Sounds a little racist and sexist to me. Just saying. And then there's like endless studies from 2014 to 2023 that have found that children raised by same-sex couples were either happier and healthier than raised by different sex couples, or they were just as happy as everyone else. So there's this group out there that's dumb, and they have a dumb name, and they have a dumb agenda, and all of it is dumb. Anyways, back to you, Alex, with the weather.
So I was scrolling through their website and showing it to the thing. Obviously, their allies is a laundry list of right-wing wackadoodles like Focus on the Family. So let's break this down. So first off, there's somebody in the YouTube chat, and I'm going to do this because it's a very serious topic, but sometimes you have to do things. Someone in the YouTube chat said, sorry guys, the reason I failed my midterms was because I was extremely gay. I kissed a girl and now I'm incapable of reaching ranked in Overwatch. Okay, let's break this down. Okay, first off, equal rights is greater than a child. And so I'm going to start with a basic principle here. A child has a right to a father and a mother. No, they don't. No, they don't. No, they don't. That's not a right. There's lots of kids in this world today, right, who don't have fathers and mothers. Obviously, the children in Gaza didn't have the right to their parents, to both parents, because some of them are freaking dead. The idea that there is that this somehow makes any form of sense is beyond calculation. I'm reading their things. Children have a right to a mother and a father. No adult has a right to a non-biologically related child. Well, first off, we can fix that now. Science is a motherfucker. Okay? I think they can do them now. Their hard questions thingy about this is ridiculous. Who are you fighting for? Real wounds. Blah, 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 blah. Right? This is the one that drives me the most nuts. And hang on, I want to find this one in particular. Oh, where did it go? Where did it go? Would children be better off in foster care than in a loving home with same-sex parents? Here's their answer. Adoption and foster care are for children. They are the clients, not adult. Whenever possible, children should be placed with a married mother and father so they can receive the benefits that come from male and female parent. If a heterosexual married couple is not available, social workers must make a decision based on the child's best interest, which might be a loving gay couple. It might be a loving gay couple. Oh my God. Okay. These guys are absolutely up their own asses. Again, I'm going to go back to this view here. Yeah, it's a long laundry list, right? Focus on the family, AFA, Colson Center, Family Research Council. Shocking. They got a bunch of other. I mean, it's a laundry list of these motherfuckers. Truth and Liberty. What? The Family Foundation, the Family Leader. You guys, this is ridiculous. Try not to contradict themselves. Challenge impossible. Yeah. Okay. So, what's the good news? What's the good news? On the same-sex marriage, I was concerned for a moment. Okay. And this kind of, again, goes back to one of our earlier topics. Number one, our Congress is currently incapable of passing any constitutional amendment, and any constitutional amendment that would attempt to ban same-sex marriage would immediately get tossed out. Okay? It's not going to get ratified. They don't have the strength to do it right now. So that's good news, number one. Number two, if the current court wanted to overturn Obergefell, which is the Supreme Court case that granted same-sex marriage rights nationwide in the United States, they had an opportunity to do it a couple of months ago, just before the end of the year. Kim Davis brought her shit back, and they could have gone and tried to overturn Obergefell, right? And the court said, nah, okay? Right. And here's the thing. They couldn't even get it to a hearing. For anybody outside of the United States or anybody who doesn't know, there are 9 members of the Supreme Court. 9. It only takes 4 of them to grant a hearing, right? 4 of them. I thought for sure when Kim Davis brought her shit, you had frickin' Tweedledee and Tweedledum, right? Who were going to for sure vote for it. But I figured between Amy Coney Barrett, Neil Gorsuch, and Rapist Kavanaugh that they could get at least 2 more for a hearing, right? Nope. Don't know why. I can guarantee you it's not Gorsuch. And again, on the gay and trans stuff, Gorsuch has been a disappointment to the conservative movement. Like a distinct disappointment to the conservative movement. Because he's come down on the side of trans and gay people every case that's come before him. And no one knows why. He was Trump's first nominee, and he has been absolutely a disappointment to them. So I don't think that Obergefell is in danger right now. because I don't think Roberts and the rest of the court want to get anywhere fucking near it. They just don't. The other reason is these guys can start this movement, but again, they're not going to get anywhere with the constitutional amendment or a law, so they're going to have to sue. In order to sue, you've got to find damages. And this has actually been one of the things where the conservatives have been kind of running into walls, because you have to find damages. You have to say, how did this hurt you? What is the quantifiable damage that this did to you? And they can't do it with this. So, yeah, fuck them. Do you feel better on this one?
Yeah. I'm happy that we had like a good segment, a happy, uplifting segment.
Yeah.
To talk about. Yeah.
I still love that. Try not to contradict themselves challenge. Impossible.
Yeah. I
love that.
I don't know who you are, but all of your comments are
have
freaking
been
amazing.
Bangers. I love those. Those are great. Great job. All right. We have another thing kind of in the LGBTQ topics.
Right. Yeah.
Right. And obviously, we were talking about this a couple minutes ago. It's the Olympics right now. And obviously, one of the greatest challenges facing this country is the 0.1% of trans people who play sports. Jay, take us away.
Yeah. So on February 7th, the International Olympic Committee announced global sports leaders have reached a consensus on creating the first unified transgender policy for the Olympic Games and World Championships. So what does this mean? Previously, before this, literally every single sport had its own committee that would create its own guidelines. So swimming might allow trans individuals as long as you transitioned before the age of 12. Other sports, not at all. So yeah, it's been kind of a mess. However, they are working together now to create a unified policy. This is a major shift in the current system. They stated that their goal is to protect fairness in women's competition, ensure clarity across all Olympic sports, and replace the current patchwork of policies. We are expected to get a formal policy drafted the first half of this year. And as Alex mentioned, I'm kind of breaking this down. So how many trans people are competing in the Olympics? From 2004 to 2016, 0. In the 2020 Tokyo Olympics, 4 people. In Paris in 2024, there was 3. And supposedly we only have 1 in the 2026 Winter Olympics. Now, there's a lot that goes into these numbers. Some people might not be openly trans or declaring that they are trans or hiding. Also, a lot going back to the whole sport guidelines. A lot of sports just don't allow it, so they never actually get the chance to get to this level. But it is really good that they're going to create this unified policy. Hopefully, we can see more trans athletes in the Olympics. But yes, in the past 22 years, 8 people supposedly have competed. 8 trans individuals have competed in the Olympics. So this is a huge worldwide problem. We have to get this under control. These 8 people are dominating every single sport and are causing little kids everywhere just crushing their dreams.
Do we have a medal count for those 8 people?
That is a great question. We have to look that up.
All right. So while you look that up, I want to point out something, right? We're over here talking about this, but one of the big controversies from this year's Olympics, and somebody in the YouTube chat brought it up, and I was like, yes, I'm going to mention that because I saw it, is that we're talking about trans people, but it's totally fine, according to the IOC, to inject your penis with stuff so that it's a little bit bigger so that you get more stuff in your wingsuit for ski jumping.
Yeah.
Number one, I want to know what person was like, I know how I can get some more distance in my ski jump. I'm going to shoot hyaluronic acid into my junk.
No.
Okay.
No.
So let's start there.
No.
Okay. I want to know who came up with that idea. Okay. Now, while we're worried about the minuscule number of people who are trans who are competing in the Olympics, right? Because this is because this is the thing that we need to be focused on. Okay. I don't get it. Like, I don't get where this is a thing. Now, I come down on the John Oliver side of this, where he did a big piece on trans athletes. And I honestly think that, again, discussions need to be had. Okay? I am not qualified to make those determinations. But I also don't necessarily think the people who are in positions of power right now are either. Do we have a medal count?
So this is insane. According to this, when was this published? It doesn't have a date. Fuck. So supposedly, because I will say the thing that you always hear about is like men transitioning to women, and then they win all the women medals and whatever, the trophies and whatever. They don't ever really talk about women transitioning to be a male and then winning a competition. Supposedly, there's been a gold medal and a bronze medal where a trans male, so transitioned to be a male woman. So yeah, they have won a gold and a bronze medal, but no trans woman has ever won an Olympic medal, supposedly.
So I'm
So
seeing
that is
something
crazy.
that there may be one. There might be one. And it's on Canada's website. Hang on. Someone named Quinn.
Yep. So that's the trans man
Okay.
that I'm looking at also.
That is the only trans person I can find who's won an Olympic medal.
But they're a trans male, not a trans female.
Well, I'm just saying, if we're going to do this, you got to have it go both ways. Sorry, guys. That's how it works. Okay.
But it's the men pretending to be women that's winning all the women medals, Alex. Clearly, right here, it says 0 medals won. I don't know. This is kind of crazy. I don't know.
I'll be honest. Look, again, I think that there's probably a nuanced and specific discussion that needs to be had about this. But not in the backdrop of what we're doing right now. This is such a small issue that I don't even think it needs to be addressed at this stage. Right?
100%. This is literally one fucking female who got fucking mad that she tied for 5th place with a trans female throwing a fucking pissy fit, because if that trans person wasn't there, she would have just got fucking 5th. So, which is not a fucking medal at all. You get a fucking, I don't even think you get a fucking participation award. So fucking, anyways, yes, let's create a priority list and all of the issues in the fucking world, and let's put this as number one, the number one issue, these 8 people that have ever competed as a trans individual in Olympic sports.
Because the Olympics actually have bigger fucking problems. They really do.
They do.
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
They have to give out as many condoms as possible because that place is a thing. Somebody in the YouTube chat mentioned it. It's the cheating on your girlfriend simulator, right? At the Olympic Village, right? The amount of crazy crap, STDs and shit going on in the Olympic Village at every single Olympics is beyond fucked. They had to make cardboard beds. Was this 2 Olympics ago? Right? They did the cardboard beds to try and keep them from fucking on the beds. Okay? Like, what? Really? International Olympic Committee? This is what you're worried about?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's such a non-issue right now.
Well, there's that one in the Winter Olympics, that one person.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah. Anyway, well, we covered a couple of really good topics there on the LGBTQ community. Go ahead and leave your comments in the comments below. Okay. Last call. We're at about 9:30, right? It's been a good show tonight, but last call for topics that you guys would like to discuss. I'm gonna jump into this. I don't think I'm gonna record this. What do we think about legalizing machine guns like fully automatic firearms, no FRT nonsense? Jay, your initial thoughts. I'll let you go first on this one. Should we just fucking legalize machine guns?
Well, I mean, this is a very interesting question because we're in Washington State, which has a assault rifle ban just in general.
Ish.
You can't buy.
Ish.
Yeah. Ish. Yeah. So here's my issue. I used to have a hunting license, used to go hunting in the great state of Florida. I'm a gun owner. For me, it's always been practicality. So if you're, again, for me, thinking about home defense, shotgun or handgun, I don't have children. I don't need to worry about where it's going down the hallway. Sorry. Alex, you have children. So, hunting, I've always used a rifle, like an actual hunting rifle. I have never used an assault rifle. I've never used an AR-15. I'm sorry. So I always struggled with the practicality of an AR-15 in general, unless you were specifically holding on to it in case you, like, I don't know, like some crazy person became president and then just didn't want to.
Zombie apocalypse. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Zombie apocalypse. You're fucking hoarding for the zombie apocalypse. Sure. AR-15. So I think that's a very like specific thing that you're trying to prep for. And then assault rifle. Me personally, I just don't see why like an average civilian.
And I think we're beyond assault rifles. Because we're talking about machine guns.
Yeah, sorry,
right?
Machine gun. I don't see where like the average civilian needs a machine gun.
You don't need it, right? And coming from a relatively educated background as a veteran, machine guns have limited practical purpose, right? There's a reason why not everybody in the Army carries a machine gun, because it's not a very practical thing. And anybody who's been in the military will tell you, the times that we are taught to fire our M4s, which is the assault rifle, on fully automatic is never, because it's a waste of bullets. Okay? So let's start there. Okay? Yeah. They're relatively impractical weapons. It actually takes quite a bit of training to use them properly. Like, people think shooting machine guns is easy. It's actually, in my opinion, right? Learn it as it is. I actually think that a machine gun is much harder to use functionally in a fight than a rifle. Okay, so let's start there. Somebody in the YouTube chat brought up the whole shall not be infringed. Yes. Okay. I know the Second Amendment backwards and forwards. Here's the thing: the Second Amendment is an archaic, poorly written amendment, okay, that needs to be revised. But I'm going to put that aside for a minute. Regardless of the shall not be infringed, we as a society have decided that there is a limitation to what weapons we are allowed to have, okay? The only debate comes into play, which is at what level do we let you have something, right? I'll give you an example. I can't go anywhere and buy a law. I can't buy a light anti-tank weapon. They won't let me, right? I don't think you can. I cannot go out and buy a Carl Gustav, okay, which is a neat gun that will give you a concussion if you fire it too many times, okay?
Oh, cool.
That's the Carl Gustav, okay?
Okay.
Okay. It is an anti-tank weapon. I cannot. So the practicality of the question is should we legalize machine guns? I don't know. Should we legalize the Carl Gustav? Right? It's technically a rifle. It is an 84 millimeter recoilless rifle. Technically. But it's an 84 millimeter recoilless rifle, which we use to shoot anti-tank weapons. Okay? Like.
Yeah.
Again, we as a society have decided that there are some lines we're willing to draw. Jeff Bezos has enough money, he's not allowed to buy Tomahawk cruise missiles. Because he's got the money to do it. Right?
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Obviously, we're letting these motherfuckers start their own space programs. Right? Which actually is a whole separate thingy. By the way, most people don't realize this, but all of those, like SpaceX, Blue Origin, everything else, right? They actually have to follow international trafficking and arms regulations because the stuff they're building can be used as weapons. The problem is that we, as a society, have not decided fully what that amendment means. And since we're going to do it, I'm going to bring it up, and I'm going to point out something about the Second Amendment. Okay? This is from the Library of Congress. The problem with the Second Amendment is it's archaic and it was written as a run-on sentence. Okay? Here's this. I didn't mean to do that. Here's the Second Amendment. A well-regulated militia, comma, being necessary to the security of a free state, comma, the right of the people to keep and bear arms, comma, shall not be infringed. Now, the problem is, when we talk about grammar, what does a comma usually mean, Jay?
I like to use it when I want to have a run-on sentence.
Commas.
I have a minor in physics and math, not in language.
Okay. Actually, we're going to do that too because it's fun. Okay. Comma. No, not commando rifle. Stop that. See, this is the problem with AI. I just want to talk about commas. Indicating a pause between parts of a sentence. It is used to separate items in a list or to mark the place of thousands in a large numeral. It's a pause. Okay. Yeah. A well-regulated militia, pause, being necessary to the security of a free state, pause. The right of the people to keep and bear arms, pause, shall not be infringed. The reason we've had so many court cases about this is because it's badly written. Okay? It just is. Nobody knows what it means. And it's meant different things over the course of the history of our country. It is, again, I mentioned earlier in the show that for America to get out of the mess we're in, we need 3 to 5 constitutional amendments. We just do. We got to get them, right? Or even if we get out of the current mess, we'll be back in another one in 5 years, maybe 10. Okay? So again, when we talk about that, the general consensus is, look, there is a limitation to what we're willing to sell the general public. Okay? Okay? Jim Bob over there, right, is not allowed to go buy a Carl Gustav. Do I think they should be legal? No, probably not. Mostly because I don't trust Americans. Quite frankly, and anybody who's a veteran will tell you this, okay? And I'm telling you this right now. Every veteran I know, myself included, knows at least one person that they knew in the military where they were like, we give you a gun? Like, is that smart? Should we be giving you, person in the military, a firearm? Because I'm not sure I trust you with said firearm. In fact, I want you to stand over there while you are holding said firearm. Okay. YouTube chat, I will not be satisfied until I have an artillery piece. Look, and that's honestly, I don't think it's an improper opinion per se. Like, if you're like, look, everybody should have a Abrams tank, that's a perfectly valid opinion. It really is. I consider it a perfectly valid opinion. The rest of the country, nor does your government consider it a valid opinion. Okay? The government would never be like, yeah, let's let this guy buy a Spectre gunship. Which is what I would buy. Actually, sorry, never mind. If the Second Amendment suddenly meant I could buy whatever I wanted, I know exactly what I would buy. My favorite thing in the world. I would buy an A10 with a big old GAU 8 on the front. Because A10 go Bert. Okay?
What are we talking about?
But if we're going to have crazy guns, here, this is the gun I want. You want a machine gun? This is the machine gun I want. I'm going to bring it up. It's right here. This is my friend the GAU 8. Here's a GAU 8 next to a VW Beetle. That's my machine gun.
That is, yeah, that's...
They built that and then they built a plane around it. They were like, hey, we got this big gun. What should we do with it? I know. Let's put it in a plane.
Oh my God.
And they did. And it was good. And they made the A10. Okay. And the A10 Warthog, go Bert. And it is my favorite. So, do I think they should legalize machine guns? No. Do I understand people have that opinion? Sure. If you think you should be allowed to have an artillery piece, that's a perfectly valid opinion. I don't think you're going to get very far with it, but it's a valid opinion. Boo, boo, boo. The more you know.
I'll say I think like having a Tommy gun would be fun.
They're heavy. Have you ever picked one up?
No.
They're heavy.
No.
The Tommy gun is heavy as shit. It is so heavy. I'd buy some HIMARS, maybe a javelin. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. That's what we need to give everybody. HIMARS. And a javelin.
Oh, God.
That would make everything all better. I want to point out, though, somebody brought this up a little while ago on another show I was doing. People think leftists don't like guns. I'm going to tell you a secret, right-wingers. I'm going to tell you a little secret. Liberals don't like guns. Leftists love guns. And there's whole big, very quiet, but there's whole big groups of leftists who are out there training and are out there buying. And they're like, yeah, fuck you, give me an assault rifle, right? Buy me the machine gun. Again, right-wingers. Liberals don't like guns. Leftists love fucking guns. I know lots of super lefty gun nuts who are just waiting for the fucking revolution. Okay. Dog Dad, I know you fairly well. You're not a liberal. You're a leftist. You're absolutely not a liberal. Not in the modern definition of the word. Not how you would align politically these days. 20 years ago, maybe, but yeah, now you hold a lot of pretty lefty positions. Okay. I think we're out of topics for tonight. Chat, you got like 2 minutes. If you got any more topics you want us to touch on tonight, go ahead and drop them in the chat. We'll either hit them tonight, or if it's complicated, we'll hit it next week. We will once again be back next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. We are here every Thursday at 8 p.m. Pacific time. Yes, 8 p.m. Pacific time, not specific time. Pacific time. So, yeah, somebody else. Tommy gun is heavy, expensive, and overrated. That is true. I'm a big fan of the P90. The P90 is a cool gun. It is a pretty neat gun. Specific time. It is. And 8 p.m. Pacific is the specific time that you will be with us next week. All right. With that, I guess we're going to say goodnight to everybody. Thank you all. We had a very lively audience tonight, who actually made it very fun. When you guys are really active in chat there on YouTube and on Twitch, it really does makes my night for sure. It's just fun. And y'all chat, y'all were on one tonight, and I love that.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Okay, I love when chat's on one. So, Jay, say goodbye to the nice people.
Good night, everyone.
We love you.
Bye.
Have a great one.